Welcome to Sound Values, powered in part by LSA Burger and Classic.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in live on DentonRadio.com, broadcasting out of the beautiful, Christmasly decorated Denton Welcome Center. And we are on the gorgeous and ever-darkening Denton Square right now. I am sitting here with three very nice boys who make up a wonderful band. They are called Maestro Maya. How we doing?
What's going on?
Go around.
How
We're
you
gonna shake all the hands.
How's it going, man?
Hello. Doing good, man. Appreciate y'all coming in tonight. In a town full of musicians and bands, I was like, okay, there are good bands in town who I haven't talked to. So I've been writing those down, and I was like, I haven't talked to Maestro Maya. And I actually started going back thinking to when I was running sound at Backyard like 2 summers ago. And I was like, who did I run sound for that I wanted to talk to? And so y'all popped up, and then Samus David? I can't even remember if it's
Samus Davis
Samus,
Jr.?
yeah.
Yes, you guys have
Yeah.
the name right. Okay, sweet. Because I couldn't get it right the whole interview last week. And I was like, those are 2 bands that I want to talk to, and here you are. So it's nice to have you.
It's good to be here.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys just kind of go around, introduce yourselves and what you do in the band. We'll start right here.
Cool. My name is Andres Serrano. I am the drummer.
Wonderful.
Hello. I'm Jonas Frowner, and I play bass for Maestro.
Cool. Josh Sinquamani, do vocals and guitar.
Right on.
And all the effects.
Very cool. Awesome. So yesterday and today I was listening to a few of the are they albums, or are they more just like short EPs or lengthy songs that are on SoundCloud at Bandcamp?
Yes.
Because there's like ones that are 11 minutes and 9 minutes. So
The stuff we have on Bandcamp and SoundCloud right now are actually just a live EP we put together from the block party.
Okay.
Not this past one, but the one before.
Okay,
the Backyard block party.
yeah, because like once it got to the end of maybe both of them or one of them, there was like clapping.
Yeah.
And I kind of
Yeah.
liked
They
that.
were
I was
live
like,
recordings.
oh, that was live. So it sounded
Just use a
great.
little handheld recorder and put it
Really?
up. Yeah.
That sounded good for live, man. You could actually hear a lot of the dynamics and a lot of the different stuff that was going on. So shout outs to the recorder and the sound guy and all that.
That was
all
me
that.
pushing record and walking to the guitars.
Yeah. You placed that recorder
It's
just
right
perfectly.
there.
The perfect spot, man.
Just
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah.
So just to kind of start things off, I kind of like to get an idea for everybody's kind of first musical memory. You know, like either that first time music inspired you, or maybe somebody in your life who got you interested in playing drums, bass, or guitar, just making music in general. So Andres, we'll start with you.
Man, honestly, it's kind of weird to say, but my mom, when she was about to get us up for cleaning the house, she would put on some Gypsy Kings or some Los Lobos, and she'd get her, her shirt on that she was gonna use to clean, and she put her hair up in a ponytail. And dude, she'd wake us up. It'd be 7:30 in the morning, and we'd be there till about 5 p.m.
That's
so
awesome.
we'd just be hanging out.
I mean, that's kind of awesome.
Yeah,
Maybe not the
no,
cleaning, but like
I hated it at the time, but
Dude,
that's what I remember
this
the
is
music.
amazing. You just sparked a memory in my mind, because I've been trying to remember this music that my parents would put on all the time, and it was Gypsy Kings.
Dude,
and
Gypsy
so
Kings,
all of a sudden
man.
you just said it, and I was like, "That's it. That's what I've been. I'm going." And that's why I wrote it down on my hand immediately.
I love it now.
So I'll get home.
love it now,
yeah,
but
it's great.
It's fantastic.
It's gonna send a lot of memories when I get home and listen to this. So I appreciate
Good or bad.
Cleaning
Good or
memories,
bad.
too. That's what I'm saying. My
Cleaning
mom used to put
memories,
that on.
Yeah.
Go all around.
A lot of
the
energy
house.
in that music. Yeah.
Every Sunday I had to clean those floorboards.
With a toothbrush
You
or...
understand, right?
Oh, no, they gave us like those blue SOS
Nice.
pads,
Oh, yeah.
which I hated, because I was like, why are you going to clean something and leave blue stuff on it to go back over it and
clean
clean the blue
again.
stuff
It's a little
off?
reminder.
It never made sense to me. All right, so that
That's
was a memory
me.
for you.
That's mine. Yeah, that's
I
my
can kind of
deepest
see the
one,
drums, though, because, I mean, especially Gypsy Kings are so rhythmically driven.
Oh man, they
there's
have
a lot
about 3
going
guys
on.
up there that are doing, all kinds of different. You have your, congas, bongos, and you have your traditional drummer. And so, that was my. It's always when I think about music for the first time. I hated it, but it was great. And now it's great.
There you go. And you, sir?
Definitely heavily influenced from my folks and their music taste growing up in the 90s. Cassette tapes were heavy in rotation.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very specific memory where like the car door on my dad's old pickup just like swung open. Little brother's sitting in like the little baby like carriage, and mom's driving and she's screaming, and Pearl Jam's playing on the cassette. And like I get a lot of flack for that now. It's like Eddie Vedder and his voice, and it's like, but I mean,
Here from floor.
but you better close the door. But yeah.
Okay,
no.
we're gonna stop singing Pearl Jam.
But But yeah, no. Growing up in the '90s, definitely influenced by my folks and their musical taste and preference, and '90s, '60s, '70s, everything in between. Definitely very rock oriented. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, no, they heavily influenced me, and I know that's why I do it now.
Okay,
so.
for sure. And how about you, Josh?
Pretty much as long as I can remember, I've had musical influences. Grew up with, my dad and all the 80s, Rush and Journey and all that stuff. A lot of country music. I just remember at like 5 or 6 asking for a violin for Christmas. Just a strange thing for probably a 5 or 6-year-old to ask for.
No.
That lasted about 2 months, and then it was destroyed. And then I went to drums and did band, like trumpet, and went through college doing that.
So music just interested you from a very young age.
Yeah, I've always been drawn to it. So
I always find that I don't know if y'all have ever experienced this, but I've played shows where the individuals who are dancing the most are below the age of 8. Like there's like everybody's kind of sitting there hanging out. This isn't every show, but like they're sitting there hanging out, and then all of a sudden like their toddler comes up and is just like
getting into
literally
it.
having.
And the first reaction is get back, get back.
Yeah, get back.
He's like, no.
And then I get on the mic. I'm like, no. I need
You need to
Get the dancers going. Get the dancers
If the
going.
kid is having fun, the parents are having fun.
Right,
Parents
right.
want to stick around.
Right.
Vinny
Yeah.
wants to have you back.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the magic ticket right there. So. Andres, when it came to, we kind of mentioned, the Gypsy Kings and how it was really, but what, and I always say this of parents who are drummers are very nice people,
Yeah.
to allow their son or daughter to just,
Right.
did you, how did you get a pair of drums in front of you?
You know what it was? It was my dad's selfish reasons. I actually started playing with my pops when I was about 12, 13 years old, and he got me just a regular Pearl set to play with his, because their
So
drummer
he was
had
a
left.
drummer.
No, he was a guitar player in a
Oh,
band.
okay.
Their drummer left. They needed somebody to fill in, and they did, corridas, cumbias, rancheros, stuff like that. That just required basically the drummer just to go boom, da, boom, da, boom, da. Just.
Yeah.
So I'd
He's
sit
really
there-
good at that.
He's
really good at
I'd
that.
sit there with my dad at 11 or 12 years old in the garage, and I'd only be able to make noise if he was in the room with me. Because
Yeah,
otherwise, it'd be
okay.
like, no, cut that shit. Cut that out. Cut that out. Yeah. So it'd just be kick drum, snare. Kick drum, snare.
His own selfish reasons, man.
And so I loved it eventually, but again, it was
Typical
one of those things. Yeah, I was just like, Dad,
Love, hate
I want
things.
to play Rush, but
Yeah.
I wasn't Neil Peart, I wasn't John Bonham, but
Yeah.
I was like, I want to play
Yet.
this. I
Not
want to play
yet.
this, and this. And my dad's like, no, you learn this first.
Yeah.
Boom, da, boom, da. So that's really where it came from, and they had their own. Thankfully, his band had their own practice spot, and so
Okay.
we were able to get away from. For my mom's sake, my poor mother, she had 3 boys, so
Oh,
my poor
man.
mother, yeah. So,
Yep.
so she got her time to relax. My
Did
dad,
he get the brothers any other instruments? He was like, hey, trumpeter, just stuff like that.
my brother who you met, I
Yeah.
guess here, keyboard. It was
Okay.
so he can
Yeah,
play
'cause he plays the
originally,
keys, yeah.
originally cumbias and all kinds of stuff where it requires a lot of like synth keys and
That's
stuff
really
like that.
cool.
So
Very-
my dad, as selfish as he was, actually ended up doing us a valuable.
He was
lesson.
looking out.
He was looking
Yeah.
out. Yeah, he was looking out.
When
yeah.
did you start to, because you're like, at first I wasn't a big fan, but when did you start to like branch away from the father-son jamming to all of a sudden playing with some friends? Or
Honestly, it wasn't until I got out here, man. I moved out here in 2011.
Okay.
And so I went about 10 years of playing El Paso, Sierra Blanca, Van Horn. We played all over West Texas,
Wow,
with
that's
his
cool.
with his band. And then when I got out here, met Josh, and we kind of just took off. And that was the first time I really got to play with somebody my age. At the time, I was really intimidated, but now it's just about jamming with them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whoever.
You couldn't tell from your jamming that you were intimidated.
Been playing all over Texas.
Because I
Yeah.
had some liquid courage that time.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
All right, let's
exactly.
do it. That's,
Right.
that's cool, man. That's cool. So what drew you to play bass, or did you start at bass? What do we start? What do we got?
Bass actually came to me as a result of actually playing with these guys, as well as like a couple different incarnations of other friends groups. So bass has only kind of been on my plate for past 4 or 5 years maybe.
Okay.
But I started playing guitar when I was like 12, and I mean that was all coming from my dad.
Okay.
Blues pentatonic scale is basically like the limit of my understanding of like what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
If I'm being absolutely honest, it's a funny thing when you can find so many correlations between so much music just by that one little, blueprint of sound.
Yep.
So definitely it came from him. I was 12. It was like, Dad, you've got a guitar. I want a guitar. You wanna hook a brother up?
Yeah.
You wanna do something about this or what?
Yeah.
So and he got me like my first little Squire Strat Pack, and I remember we drove home that day. We actually got rear-ended, and he was like, "Whoa!" And I was like, Dad, do you think the guitar is okay? He's like, man, screw the guitar. How about the car, man? And he's worried about
the car's
that.
not important.
Just drop this on the guitar you didn't need, and here's the car problem. But I was like, Dad, teach me.
Yeah.
And he's like, BS, man, you're gonna have to figure this out yourselves, just like me, man. And he showed me pentatonic scale and like 2 little jazz chords, and he was like, "You're on your way."
Teach you. I gotta go to work, man.
Right? I'm trying to
I gotta
feed
make all
you.
your
I
food
gotta
money.
feed
I
you.
gotta.
Are you hungry?
Teach yourself,
You
man.
like this house that you're living in, son?
Yeah.
So yeah, it started with guitar when I was 12, and now it's primarily bass. I don't really play guitar all that often. I'll be at home and I'll noodle, but
Okay. Very cool, man. Very cool. And how about you, Josh? What got you interested in playing the guitar?
It was boredom actually that got me into the guitar. I already said I started on drums, kind of moved to the band, did the trumpet thing, and then I was in a little garage band in high school where all of the gear stayed at my house, and we were like, we should record an album. Yeah. Of course. And so I bought a little like 8-track recorder. This was like senior year high school.
What year did you graduate?
08.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we're all. Wait, you were 09.
yeah.
So I was
Otherwise,
I
we're
was
all
06. So I was thinking if
Okay.
we were all close enough to where every kid was recording
within a
an
couple
album.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple years, you know.
We're all
Yeah,
there.
every
We're
kid
all
was
there.
recording
Right.
an album.
Right, we're all there.
So basically, I had my little recorder at the house, and when we were done recording all our stuff, it was summertime. I was like, oh, what do I do with this recorder? So my stepsister had like an acoustic guitar that was laying around from her dad, and I decided to pick that up and learn some Beatles songs, like some tabs, and kind of got into it. And even still, it wasn't much. And then still after that point, I went to college, did the whole trumpet thing. But yeah, I basically started doing it to entertain myself.
Yeah.
Bought a couple pedals. A loop pedal was my first pedal, oddly enough, because I wanted to jam with myself. So I would record little loops and then
Nobody
solo
else is
over
good
it.
enough
No
for
friends,
him.
man. It's
Yeah,
a real
like
bummer.
no, people aren't cool at
Nobody
pedals.
else.
Yeah, they
people
like,
over.
people used to say,
Yeah.
so why do you like to make beats? I'm like, because I don't have any friends.
Nobody wants to jam with me.
Yeah, my homie PC takes care of me just fine.
Yeah. So, anyways, guitar is probably the instrument I know the least out of all
Okay.
the things I know. But that's what I find myself doing.
Very
So-
cool. Do you look at the guitar sometimes like not as an instrument per se? You know, like you might talk to guys who are really seasoned in playing jazz and stuff like that, and you know their learning is very, very structured.
Right.
Some people look at it more as just this thing that's got 6 strings that makes noise depending on how you pluck the strings.
That's exactly it.
That's how I looked at it when I learned. I was
That's
like,
why I have 15 pedals in
Goes
front
with
of me.
her.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's because I don't really know the technical aspect of playing the
Mm-hmm.
guitar. You know, I know enough theory from trumpet and whatever else I've learned to know the basics of theory, but not how that applies to a guitar
Yeah,
per se.
okay.
So for me, it's more about texture and hearing melodies.
very textural.
Yeah,
Yeah, very textural.
very textural.
So
Yeah, I feel like from if you graduated from like 2005 to 2010, maybe 2009, you most likely recorded an album in a shed or your bedroom somewhere, because
Yeah.
I know I did at least 3 times. It's out there on pure volume.
yeah,
The song
Oh,
links
Pure
don't work.
Volume.
Yeah, pure
pure
the song-
volume's how you know.
Yeah, yeah, the song links don't work anymore because I've tried. Because I'm like, I want to hear this
Yeah.
again.
There's some treasures there.
Yeah, but like,
Horrifying
I had this,
treasures.
I had this awesome line that was like, "You look like an angel, but lie like a rug."
Ooh.
God, I was so emo.
There it is.
No, it's great. It's great.
Cuts deep, man. Cuts deep.
Were you listening to Chiodos? Dude,
Oh, dude, I I was listening to some rough stuff back then.
Yeah.
man.
That cuts like a rug.
Those were dark times. Yeah. I was listening to all the Hawthorne Heights, all that stuff.
Man.
I had a funny conversation
You
about.
did
about
graduate
those.
in 2007.
Yeah, 06, man. Trust me,
06,
I was.
yeah, man.
Trust me, I was wearing Hurley sporting tight jeans and everything.
Senses fail.
Oh, don't even get me started, man.
No, let's go there. Let's go there.
No.
No.
Get as far away from this as possible. Oh, man. So that's cool, man. It seems like everybody kind of has their own path. And a lot of the times, like, you know, like you're saying, your dad's really involved. Your dad's involved. Yours was boredom. Mine was a combination of dad and boredom. My dad's fingers, and this is his own words, I'm not saying this, are too fat to play the guitar appropriately because he smashed them too much with a hammer from doing construction his whole life. So he couldn't play the chords. I'm not kidding. He'd be like, I can't, my fingers, they're too fat. You know?
Think of a whole
So,
fret.
They should pick up the bass, man. He'd be great at it.
So, yeah, it would have been just a one-stringed bass would have been perfect.
Hey, my dad plays the bass. You don't want the dad playing the bass. Sorry, Dad.
So and then I got really bad grades for a while, and so I got grounded. But my dad had this guitar, and so this was like 10th grade when like every guy in my grade like skateboarded and played guitar. And I was like, well, I don't do either one of those, so if I'm going to be cool, I got to start doing at least one of them. So this guitar had sat there for like months, and so I picked it up. My dad had a chord book, and then I just started playing that, and I just, once again, didn't have, nobody wanted to play with me, so I just played one-man groups. I learned all the Dashboard Confessional I could, and what's that one, Jack Johnson?
Oh, yeah, man.
I remember I learned
Bubble
this.
toes.
Dude, I learned
Banana pancakes.
I learned
bro.
banana pancakes for this girl. And I remember she was like really sick out of school for a while, and I called her while she was in the hospital, and I was going to be real cute and play this song to her in my boyish attempt to have her fall in love with me. This you can tell that I was raised in the 90s off of movies that made you believe this worked.
Right.
So when I called, she picked up and it went, "Oh, hey, you." And I was like, "Oh, hey." And it went, and she was like, "I'm so glad you called." And I was like, "Oh, right on." And she was like, "But I can't get to the phone right now. So leave a message." And I was like, "Oh."
So please tell me you left a
You left a
message.
banana pancakes
No,
message?
I
with the
didn't.
song.
I
Come
didn't. It was
on.
so defeating that I never played the guitar again.
Oh.
No.
Never
No,
touched
I'm
it.
just kidding. She was a sweet
Burned
girl.
it
It wasn't
right
her
there.
fault. I definitely didn't leave a message. And when she asked them on Monday if I called, I said it was a pocket dial.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's pocket dial. My
Yeah,
bad."
no,
She's
I
like-
don't want to talk to you.
She said, "It went all the way through, Mike.
They
I
were
could hear
gonna-
you rustling around and kind of." No, you didn't hear it.
They were charging me by the minute. It was crazy on my Nokia. Hold on. I needed to get out of there.
Dude,
I'm
that
sorry.
was a time.
Hey,
a time
man.
before unlimited texts.
And
Alright.
data.
My
I
mom
remember
would-
a time when I was not allowed to
My
text.
mom wanted to strangle
They were like,
me.
"Why are you
That's true.
texting me? Call me, call me." I'm like, "I don't want to. I can't call you."
Yeah, it'll cost my dad $75.
My dad will be pissed.
Not
For
after 8
12
p.m.,
yeah.
Mom. I
Sorry,
can't call you.
it's not
I only
after
get
8.
unlimited nights.
Nights
Alright,
and
I
weekends
got-
only, bro.
So, speaking of like, you got to put restrictions on it. You said like you had a time where you could like you played when Pops was around. You
Yeah.
know, when Pops wanted to go in there. Do y'all have a designated like time? Because that's the other thing about being in a band is that you got to stay organized. Everybody's got to be able to hang out at the same time and want to hang out at the same time. So, do you guys have specific days that y'all meet together?
When
No.
we have a show.
Okay.
Yeah.
We practice as much as possible the days
Yeah.
leading up to the show.
Is there an occasion? Are we just like wanting to like blow off some steam? Like, what's
okay.
the purpose?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like what is the end goal
I
or
like that.
reason as to why? We're
yeah.
already like together all the time, anyways.
Yeah, we hang around a lot. Well, that's
is-
the other thing. Yeah.
Yeah. This is what I've heard. When I interviewed, I believe Sunbuzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, man, I mix names up sometimes. I don't know why. So I wanted to make sure I got that one
It's all right,
right.
John.
No,
But yeah.
You're good, John. You're good.
Listen here, Stu.
It's fine. Stu's my middle name. So.
That'd be amazing. But yeah, they were like, I don't know. We all kind of hang out in the first place,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. So everybody just kind of kicks it. It's this a large group of people.
Yeah.
Do you guys all kind of get together and jam sometime, and everybody just it's like certain people kind of can go back and forth because everybody's musically inclined? Very.
As far as us and Sunbuzz, it's just us collective. So like
The whole-
so we,
the
we
whole
the whole
squad.
okay. So we all
Yeah.
practice at the same house now, but
Okay.
honestly, we
Always
just
been at the same
yeah,
house,
that's true. Yeah,
just
right,
not
you're
your
right.
house.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
it's a new house now.
It's a new house, yeah. But no, actually, I mean, no. If it's like if I'm in there jamming and maybe it's before Sunbuzz practice or something,
Yeah.
and Lauren or anybody else gets there, they'll hop on and we'll hang out or whatever
Okay.
and play some licks and everything like that. But I don't. I mean, we want to, we would like to, but I think there's too many personalities for us
Yeah.
to be like, yeah, we can make this work.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if we're there yet.
There's in
Well, it's all-
between gems for sure.
Yeah,
that's
and
what I
it's
was-
the
yeah.
chemistry too, because like the three of us and like Maestro, it's all kind of improv based. We
Yeah.
don't really have songs. It's all just kind of made up. So we're very used to hopping in a room and just like, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Going
And
for it.
Sunbuzz is very structured, and they have a very specific way of writing songs and things. So I think there's a bit of a disconnect in that too.
Yeah, for
it's just
sure.
like, and nothing against any, like, there's no right or wrong
No,
way.
yeah, for
it's just
sure.
a matter of like not what you're used to. So
Yeah, no, I even when I listened to I listened to Sunbuzz and I listened to y'all, it's a completely different sound.
yeah.
So you wouldn't expect those two bands to be playing like back to back with each other. You'd work your
Right.
way.
Right,
Yeah.
You'd work your way up to that. So that's cool, man. That's cool. I've always like the only band that I was ever really a part of was two guys who I went to high school with, and that was the thing. We all could go to the same shed. They didn't drive yet, so I'd just drive us over to Logan's place, and we'd go back and just jam,
Yeah.
And we tried to write songs, but it would just end up turning into these 2.5 hour jam sessions where like my buddy Bob would be like, okay, so like, dun, 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 and I'd be like, yeah, and then Logan would be like, dun, 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 and then I'd be on the other guitar. We didn't have a bassist, back then. And then we'd write like 3 minutes of the song, but then after the 3 minutes of the song were done, we'd just keep going.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's easy to
then,
keep
like,
going and to
yeah.
stop.
Yeah, and then Bob
You're
hits like
"What
a
am I
pedal,
doing?"
and then the next thing you know, it's been 2.5 hours.
Right.
And that's what's so fun. That's what I like to hear too. Is it's kind of like, what is the occasion? Some bands they get in every time they meet, it's for a genuine purpose to write music. And I think that sometimes when you have that state of mind, you can lose the fun of music in the first place and what it's about. Which is having fun expressing yourself creatively through sound. So
Getting weird.
definitely, like that was one thing, making beats. I was like, I don't have to always sit down and make this whole full flesh. I just need to just play the keys
Right.
and,
Get some ideas out.
yeah, exactly. So when it comes to like the songwriting process for y'all, it's mostly jamming.
Only.
Yeah. So you guys have
there is no
very-
songwriting
Yeah,
process.
there's nothing prepared
So
previously. I love it.
I mean, like, we've been playing together
It's
long
so
enough.
avant-garde and just
I don't know.
modern.
I don't
and
know
just,
if that's what
like,
you wanna call
It's just
it.
like you showed up and you splatted paint on the walls, but
We're just
musically.
like three Jackson
We're
Pollocks
doing-
here. So don't worry about it.
It's the first time I've ever stood up during an interview, by the way.
We're doing live painting, basically, is what we're doing. We just get up there. We
Maybe
know
you
what
should
chords
integrate
and
that in.
oh, that'd be sweet.
You step on something and you just splash the paint up against
Do you
it.
want to be
know?
the fourth member
Be
of my
live
show? and do some
visual.
of
Can
that?
I?
Paint man.
You
I
wanna-
just
man.
run around with buckets in the back.
Canvases on
man.
everything.
I could. Y'all's music is like a more experimental Steppenwolf. Is like when I was listening to it.
I can dig that.
Well, you know that part
Oh, yeah.
in Magic Carpet Ride where it gets like real trippy? It's like
Right at the
wow.
end?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, like
dude, I like caught myself. I was like, oh, this is very like
Yeah.
this is like if Steppenwolf went to a party and ate some suggestible brownies or something,
I don't know
Something
what you're
wild
talking
like
about.
that.
Maybe
But
something
regardless,
like
that.
if he was allergic to the nuts, and all of a sudden he started breaking out.
Hey, he's allergic
So
to
he was on the
peanuts.
verge of
I
death.
like the peanuts, so
Did
there
you
go.
bring? You brought your EpiPen, right?
I like to live life.
There's
Yeah.
there's
I don't
peanuts on the
bring- I don't
headphones.
know.
It's okay, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trained.
You're like-
It's okay. I'm trained in this. I'm trained. So when you guys go to play a show, it's like just, hey man, you ready to go? Yeah. All right.
We talk a little bit. We talk about like which keys we want to play in. Basically, each jam has its own key, and we give it kind of a feel. So we'll have like a Latin A jam, or we'll
Okay.
have like a desert D jam.
Okay.
Like so
Desert
we give like a feel and a key. So we kind of like we're like, well, let's see where that goes.
That's cool.
And we kind of take it from there.
Based off of the
Nice.
people that are there, or kind of like the surrounding of the show, we'll decide, okay, do we want to go more chill to kind of start? Do we want to ease into it? How much dynamics do we want to kind of start?
Feel out the
And then
vibe.
Exactly.
Or
yeah.
do we
Nice.
want to hop right in?
Yeah. Which, more oftentimes than not, we're like, yeah, we'll take it chill, and then we're ending up going 140 BPM.
5 minutes in, we're just like
Very,
ridiculously.
very busy.
It's like, yeah,
Very
yeah,
busy.
yeah.
Very metronomic at times. Droney.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is there, do you guys kind of have like, like the physical cues, like maybe when the song's going to stop, or like if key changes are going to happen or breakdowns or anything of that nature? Is there, just kind of the looking, because sometimes you'll see.
That's what it is.
That's
It's between
more
me
of
and
these
Johnny.
two.
I'd
Me and
say yes
Jonas,
and no.
yeah,
Like
we-
sometimes it's spontaneous and it's just felt, and sometimes it is definitely like acknowledged.
Yeah, we
So,
got to give each other at least. If it's real bonkers and we're kind of, if it's lost in translation,
We
a
feel
little
like we're
bit,
about to lose it. We're
and
definitely
we-
gonna make some eye
we got
contact.
Yeah.
it'll be like, okay, this, like one more, I might raise, give it a little nudge on my shoulder or something, like, all right, this is where we're kind of, this is the last
A little,
Yeah.
a little
go-around
tip
kinda.
of the eyebrow.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
Like just
So,
slight
a
little
Maloik,
things.
Yeah. Right. So how long have y'all been playing together?
Ooh.
15 years?
Seven,
I don't believe
seven days.
about 3 years, 2.5 years.
Coming up
2 or
on, I
3
think,
years.
4.
Okay.
Coming
In
up on
this, as
4.
this band though, with
Almost-
this name, it's like a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
But
Right on.
we were in a band before that called Goblins. And before he was in the band, it was me and him and a couple other guys. And that started back in 2012.
Wow.
So it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
And our bassist moved to Austin. And so we weren't playing for a little bit. And then he started jamming with us. We're like, well, you should play bass. So we
I
did
heard some
Goblins
Goblins
thing for a
recordings,
while.
and they were like,
And then the
magnifique.
keyboardist, and then the
Nice.
keyboardist moved to Georgia. So we're like, well, I guess we'll just jam as a 3-piece. And then after a while, I was like, well, this isn't the same thing as
Yeah,
Goblins
right,
was.
yeah,
So we decided to change the name, and that was
Awesome.
almost 2 years
So
ago.
how
at this
did
point.
y'all meet?
I met him maybe, so he's been here since what, 08, 09? You were moved
I moved
then,
up here for college in 2008.
Okay.
I got here in 2011, and I met him pretty much like 2-3 weeks after I moved here for my suite mate. I lived at Victory Hall. I went to UNT, and I met him. We started, it's kind of funny, we ended up just jamming that same day that I met him, and he's called me back
There you
maybe a
go.
couple of weeks later.
There
Like,
you
hey,
go.
you wanna jam some more? I was like, yeah, that's all. I mean, I don't have anything else to do. Boredom.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
goes back
yeah,
to the
yeah.
boredom thing. It's like
Yeah,
I literally have no.
exactly.
I'm from El Paso, so like I have no friends out here.
I don't
so-
have any friends.
But
I'll-
you had your drum
I'll take-
set
I'll
out
take
here in
my
a matter
drum
of a
set,
week.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like took a week. You're like, I got it up here, and your dad.
Dad,
like,
yeah,
brought it
like,
up
Dad, I
here.
need my drum set that
I
you
need
got
it
me.
now.
Yep. See, at that point, he was like, I shouldn't have gotten that drum set. He was just like, there. See that it
His
came back to bite him.
selfishness,
Yeah,
yeah.
it came back to bite him in that sense. I forced him, and I was like, Dad, I don't have any friends. Come on, please.
Dad,
Get rid
Dad, I jammed with you for 14 years.
Yeah,
you can drive 12
yeah,
hours to bring me
come
that
on,
drum set.
please come over here, dear God. Yeah. So that's how we met, and then Jonas, he was kind of hanging around with a few other people that we knew,
Just
and
lurking in the background.
Lurking in the background.
heard some goblins.
For the usual.
Started actually dating one of our friends, and so he kind of came into the full circle, and we're like, hey, you sound pretty good. Let's jam. Let's do it.
Whenever he was introduced to us, I was in a band with 2 of the members in Sunbuzzed. It was called Space State back in the day. It was a little more folk-based, kind of dreamy sounding. And we were playing shows a lot, and that's when he kind of came into the circle, and we all kind of merged. And then when Space State dissolved, we all kind of did our own thing. That's when Sunbuzz kind of happened. We started doing more of the Goblins thing, which turned into this thing. So it's all complicated.
Yeah,
It's a weird metamorphosis.
Yeah.
Where was so as Maestro Maya? Where was the first place that y'all played?
Andy's.
Andy's.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
it was Andy's.
Very cool. Very cool. The first time I saw Sunbuzzed was the when the basement was closing. When it
Oh,
closed
yeah.
for a little
yeah,
while.
yeah. That was a mega show.
Yeah,
There was a
that was
bunch
a-
of
that
bands
was a
playing
big
that.
show.
Those biographies
Yeah,
played
yeah,
down there.
yeah,
Future
yeah.
Self played down there. A lot of really good music.
Yeah.
That's a
I
fun
bought
time.
all the Peronis, the Italian brew they had. It was my mission that day.
You were going to buy them
I was
all.
gonna buy
will
all
buy
the
them.
Peronis they
Hell
had in
yeah.
that case. And the
Did you
girl,
feel good about yourself the next day?
well, I was giving a lot of them away.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay,
why
okay,
I was
okay.
able to buy them
Okay,
all,
okay.
because I told the girl, I was like, I'm buying all of them that you have. And she was like, well, you're going to get cut off after like 5.
After like 5 Peronis, man.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I'm going to give a lot of them away. And so
And she's like,
like
sure.
I think I gave like 4 to Solomon Goot, if y'all know who that kid is, and there are a few other people down there who I kept, well saturated. It was all good. It was a
I'm
fun
gonna start
time.
using the word saturated. You're like, you had
It's almost like moist.
Pretty well saturated. Dude. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Saturated.
Is Josh all right? Oh man, he's saturated.
He's
dude.
saturated.
Stay away from Josh when he gets saturated, man. He's bat snaps crazy.
It's a little loud. That's not a lie.
Yeah, exactly, man. Well, that's cool. So, sometimes I've had so many different ways of like how bands and people have met to play music. Some of it's like Craigslist.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
On Craigslist, I've heard some funny stories of like, yeah, we had a bunch of weirdos from Craigslist, and then he was the least weird of all of them, so we got to go with this guy, and then he turned out being a pretty good guy. So the first show that y'all played was at Andy's. Do you guys have anything coming up soon that we got going on?
Well, we're
Live?
doing DentonRadio.com
Yeah.
on Tuesday from 7 to 8.
Right
I don't know
now?
what we're talking about.
Right.
I think the only other show we have this year is December 14th at
Yeah.
Backyard.
Okay,
No.
nice.
Not Backyard.
For Dreamy Life.
Dreamy Life,
It's gonna
Mass.
be at
We're playing at
Mass.
Fort Worth.
Mass,
Sorry.
yeah.
Oh, very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Main and South Side.
I think that's the only thing we
Nice.
have left for this year.
Awesome.
And then we're focusing in for album release.
Playing
and all
with
that.
Cosmic Creeps and Beauty Parlor.
Nice. So how do you guys go about, as a band that just jams, how have you guys gone about getting shows and and playing at places? What's kind of the process for y'all? I mean, what's
Usually we just show up.
Plug in.
No one knows we were coming. We just kind of pop up, set up on stage. And they're like, "Wait, who are y'all?"
It really is word of mouth. It really is
We're
word of mouth.
opening.
We mostly open. That's how we started off the year, mostly opening.
And
for
honestly, we
bands.
kind of prefer it. We're open to play whenever,
Well, I mean,
But I mean, we honestly like opening because in being an improvised band, there's no tone set for what's supposed to happen that evening.
totally?
When we play, we don't know what we're about to just pull out of our colloquial
Keister.
hats, if you will. So it's kind of like, it's kind of genre blending at times when we allow ourselves to be truly free to it, and the process of just like, making it up as we go.
Yeah.
And in turn, like Andres said earlier, like you're working off the energy of what's happening. But in turn, originally a lot of it was just sending emails and just reaching out and,
This guy more so.
This guy's a workhorse.
No,
He works though, and he has good connections, and
Yeah.
we treat
It's
people well.
about building those connections, and essentially we come from a logistics background as far as professionally. So it's once I started applying what I was learning through logistics to music, it was this is a grid, and you're trying to connect this dot to that dot, and I'm trying to connect to that same dot. So let's all be a constellation, baby. And so
That's why we call ourselves the Little Dippers.
the Little Dippers.
No, Lil Dippers.
Lil.
Okay,
Lil.
not little.
L-I-L.
Yeah, Lil.
Got you.
So
Dippers.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really in being an improvised band, you don't have it's not really like you're establishing a following based off of your set because they don't have songs to latch onto and then be like,
And no sets
I'm
to say.
headbanging, this is my life, I love this,
Well,
Yeah.
I
They
also
walk
feel like we
in-
appeal to the bands because of that. Because people who play music kind of come and see us, and they see oh, these guys are just kind of jamming.
I think it's more out
I
of
think
curiosity.
they feel the energy a little more than other people. Like people who may not know music may look at us and be like,
what are they
"What are
doing?
these guys doing?"
Yeah.
But the people that are in bands tend to come up to us after and be like, "Whoa, that one part you did in that one very specific section of this one jam."
And we
I'm
don't
like,
even know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, we do sometimes, but if it's so
It's
specific,
because y'all's brains are 3 steps ahead of what
Right,
what
right.
you're already
We're trying
doing.
to-
or 3
Right.
steps
so by the
behind,
end of it, we're
depending
just
on-
like, yeah,
depending on where the swing,
Yeah, if
the
you want the
actual
right
beat
swing
is,
in there, I did it on purpose.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
of course we wanted to do that. Well, I'm glad you liked our preparation.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. As you can, because like you said, as the opener, there's no tone's been set. You can and dude, I made a name off of opening.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like,
I mean, that's kind of where we're at.
yeah,
honestly.
they're like, yeah, cool. And then I got to start, and then I got to start playing later as time went on, and you know, just stuff like that happened. But like, people are like, hey, are you cool with opening? I'm like, yeah. I'm gonna show up at 9, done by 10, in bed by 11.
Right? That's awesome. See, you got
Yeah,
it.
no,
That's
For
There
us,
you
it's
go.
more like we can
There you
start
go.
drinking once we start.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about being coherent.
I'm a Snorlax type of guy. Yeah, you guys just get all kinds of bat snap crazy up there and just start, you know.
Well, sometimes it works to our advantage to be loose, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's not so.
Yeah.
So you know, you've got to walk that fine line.
That
of,
3 steps ahead all of a sudden becomes 1 step behind. I'm just like, wait, hold on, wait a second. Yeah.
I know what that feels
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
You know, just keep falling behind.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the music stuff. Goodness. So you guys have those recordings. They're on SoundCloud and they're on Bandcamp right now. And I mean, really, if you put those two together, you've got 20 minutes. You've got an EP right there. You know, so just slap them both together and
Well, there's
you
the
can call it
same
a day.
recording.
Oh,
technically.
were they?
Yeah.
I kind of could tell, but I thought the name was the same. I was like, is this the same song?
No, those are the same. We just put them on both. But we are working on an album right now.
Okay.
We're putting like the micro touches on the overdubs right now.
Ear candy.
And that should be out beginning of next year sometime.
Nice. Are y'all recording that yourselves, mixing, mastering, recording, all that fun stuff?
We went to Michael Briggs actually and did. We recorded all the instrumental tracks with him over through Civil Audio.
Nice.
And because we're improv, we kind of went over there and jammed. So we got like 8 jams in throughout the course of the day on like a Saturday, and then I took the recordings that he did like some rough mixes, sent them back to us, and we. I've been doing all the overdubs at my house because I've got a little home studio at the house.
So what do you say if somebody's like, "Hey man, can we hear that song at the next show?"
We say no.
Absolutely
We say
not.
nope.
No. You should
can't.
have
Sorry.
recorded it. You should have recorded it.
That's
No, we're trying to work towards getting some
Yeah.
more repeatable stuff.
yeah.
Well, just like structured movements around specific ideas. I think just because you're bound to repeat yourself at a point. You know. And in turn, you grow comfortable within certain patterns. But I mean, every time it's different. It's never ever once the same again. And I mean that's true to any music. You know, it's going to be recreated a million times over, and you know it'll never be the same as that one time you did it. You know, that one time.
Man,
But
yeah. Like I have had certain lines that I would say, like if I was rapping or freestyling or something, just like these safety words. And I did not realize that for years I was saying a DMX line. A wolf in sheep's clothing. And I was saying that for years, being like, man, that's a good line. And then all of a sudden one day, DMX was like, I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. Arr, arr. And I was like, oh my, no.
Dang it.
This whole time, I thought I was a genius who
It
was
must have been
writing
the Rough
these
Riders
great
anthem, wasn't
lines.
it? It was the Rough Riders
It was
anthem.
the Rough Riders anthem.
Dang,
listen to this guy just
Dun,
calling
dun,
it.
dun,
DMX.
dun,
Yeah,
dun,
is that
dun,
DMX,
dun,
man?
He's like, let me check the scrolls.
dun,
This is
dun,
from the Rough Riders anthem.
Rough
Riders.
Rough Riders.
Yes.
Version 2 from when they recorded in Studio B's, actually.
The music video contained multiple young men on four-wheelers. It's true. Look it up. It's a great video.
It's a fantastic video. I love it.
I know some people put so much work into their videos. DMX was like, just get a bunch of my homies.
I'm just gonna
and
ride through the
four-wheelers
neighborhood.
and the streets. You know.
That's all you need.
Give me a handy cam.
Yeah.
I'll get you a music video in a day.
Apparently, the way Nelly did his
Like
his
country grammar.
yeah, country
yeah,
grammar
well, yeah.
was he just went to his old neighborhood and had everybody come outside, like, and
Yo,
just
homies.
Party.
stood in a circle and they just recorded him whipping towels around for a while. I was like,
Well, that's any good music video.
exactly.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, I was talking
Bring some
to
booze, cook some food. We'll be good. We'll serve you up.
oh man, I was talking to Flintlock Gypsy last week, and they just came out with a video, and I was like, so what's the video like? And they're like, pretty much like every 90s, early 2000s video, just like 4 dudes in a living room with a bunch of people jumping around, drinking around them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, perfect. You know, I was
Tight.
like, that sounds like a video that like the band Lit would have made. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
Dun 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 dun. You know, it's like that's perfect. So, do you guys have any other social media out there that people can reach out to you to?
Facebook, Instagram.
Facebook,
The
Instagram.
gram.
At Maestro Maya TX.
Yeah. Texas.
Nice.
TX.
Do y'all tweet? Do we Twitter?
Nah.
Do
No.
we twiddle?
I do, but not as a group.
We'd say like E-Jam, you know, E-Jam, parentheses, chill vibe. Like, that would kind of.
Tonight's jam is
We're
in
gonna
E.
throw our set on there prior to us actually playing the show.
We're gonna close fast-paced G with a up-tempo exit. Yeah.
That's about all we'd have. Maybe some Rough Riders quotes in
We're
there.
gonna close with some saturated Rough Riders.
Some quotes of Rough Riders anthem.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
loop some DMX through your pedal.
Hey.
There you
Have
go.
that
He has a sampler.
Yeah,
He raises
exactly. What sampler do you have? Is it like an SP404?
I use the 404 actually on
Yeah.
stage just for the delay, just because I like how it sounds.
Yeah, biographies have that too.
Yeah.
And that little device became such it became the tool of like lo-fi hip hop,
Yeah.
basically what's just like chill jazz for millennials now. It's just jazz for the kids.
God, I love those live
Like,
streams.
No, I love
But
it too.
yeah, I
Yeah.
love those live streams.
what I
It's
do,
so
yeah.
smooth.
It's
It's so
just
smooth.
smooth jazz for millennials. So I do have to ask: is where does the name Maestro Maya come from?
Oh man.
This boy's brain.
No.
Yeah. It
Essentially,
actually did.
essentially, they were goblins. I heard their old recordings. Michael, their old bassist, had left. I picked up the bass. We were goblins. John left. And then we were like, okay, this isn't goblins anymore. And we were kind of never like fully decided on going as goblins again, which we did. And we weren't sure how we felt about it. So essentially, I booked a show right after this guy got back from living in El Paso for about 6 months. And he came back, and we were jamming there for like a couple weeks just solid. And I booked a show at Andy's. And I booked Mother Tongues and Bad Beats and Smoky Mirror out of like Cedar Hills area, I think, something like that. Those were some homies of ours. And it was just like 4 bands. And I had us booked to open as Maestro Maya and the Funky Homunculus. And I was
like, we'll give you this one.
I'll give you this one.
Well,
Yeah.
where does Maestro Maya come from? Because like I know what a maestro is, I don't know who
Right.
the Maya were,
Right,
but
right,
like.
right.
Well, essentially, like, that was it. And we were
Yeah.
like, they were like, no, we cannot, this is not the name. Like, this does not work.
We need like a
And-
15-piece band is what we
Yeah.
felt like.
Right? If we're
We
gonna
need
call
an
ourselves the
orchestra.
Funky Homunculus.
no.
Yeah, we need an
So,
orchestra.
The Maestro, Josh had a relative that was an actual
Yeah, actually, I
maestro,
forgot about
an actual
that.
maestro. Maya, we were looking for something Latin because we kind of get Latin-y and kind
Okay,
of funky and those
We
like
call it tribal doom funk.
self-described tribal doom funk.
Space gaze.
That is the greatest genre.
Improvised
Yeah.
space
Yeah.
gaze.
Subgenre
Yeah.
tribal doom funk.
Subgenre of.
Subgenre.
Not
of
your
doom
typical
funk.
mainstream tribal doom funk.
It's the underground stuff. No, yeah.
Which people hear doom and they're all automatically like, well, you're not metal, you're not heavy. And it's like, well, no, but we definitely get dark and murky and like,
yeah, doom doesn't have to be.
Right.
man.
Yeah.
But essentially, people were asking us like, so when's the next Maestro Maya show? And we were undecided on what to call ourselves.
Okay,
So
yeah.
like we
It's
were
kind
like,
of-
let's stick with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I'm going to talk about my own hidden meaning for it, Maestro being like somebody who is very well versed in what they're doing. And then we later found out that like Josh actually, comes inherently from a maestro, but which only added further meaning to it. But the Maya for me is more Hindu meaning, and it comes from Maya, which means the illusion. And essentially, if we're improvising and at the end of the set somebody comes up to us and like, oh my God, that was bonkers and that sounded great. It's like, well, yeah, like we just, we made it up on the spot and like it sounded like we were together, but it was all just like, it was perception. It was all just a matter of that moment and how we were all vibing off of the experience. So
What a beautiful story.
That
I just
mean,
got captivated. No sarcasm. I was like, what? Yes.
that's if I'm trying to find
your
That's
name.
a good
if I'm trying to find my hidden meaning in the name of the silly band that like
Did you just improvise that meaning right now, though? How do I know, Maestro?
You don't know.
I don't.
You don't.
And this is
And
where
you
the
will
mystery
never
lies
know.
deep.
And that's
All
why maybe next time we will never tweet.
Just a dot for your next tweet.
dot.
Man. We got a couple minutes left here, guys. So we've crushed the mystery of the name, but now we have to find the mystery of favorite snacks. All right, so let's start. What's your favorite snack, man?
If I'm going right off the top of my head, it has to be hot Cheeto Puffs.
Dude, I'm telling you, Hot Cheetos for the win. I can't believe I'm not sponsored by these people
Hot
already.
Cheeto Puffs, at Hot Cheeto Puffs, sponsor
probably 'cause
us,
they
at Maestro
suck.
My
Yeah.
If you guys want to sponsor us.
I tried to get Behringer wines for a while, but they were not biting.
I'm going to throw it in there.
I would do those on my own at-home live stream. Yeah?
Beaver nuggets from Buc-ee's, too. I'll just throw that in there,
dude,
too.
they're
That's
so
some bigger
good.
nuggets. All right. That'll be my
Hey,
two snacks.
maybe we'll do it up. Graduating, anniversary, maybe a wedding. Behringer wines combined with Bucky Nugs.
There you go.
Behringer wines
There you
and Bucky
go.
Nugs.
They should sponsor you guys.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think we just made it happen. So how about you, man?
If I'm being gross and eating like terribly,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be straight up. Number one best store-bought cookie is Famous Amos cookies.
Oh,
He
no
is.
doubt.
He's a famous Amos
Yeah,
head.
Yeah.
I like Famous Amos cookies. I will say it. You can keep your Chips Ahoy. You can keep your Oreos. You can keep your Keeblers, Snack L's, whatever the hell. I don't know. I like Famous Amos cookies. But lately, I've really been digging on unsalted mixed nuts and cashews. It's like
What? Famous Amos or cashews?
if I'm being
It's
gross and I'm eating cookies, I'm eating
Unsalted.
Famous Amos.
Unsalted.
Yeah.
Unsalted.
Specifically.
yeah.
Trying to watch my figure
Salt.
Yes.
before I get the bag
Well,
of Famous Amos.
Yeah, exactly. It's the sodium before the sugar crash. So
All right, how about you, man?
Does Chipotle count as a snack?
he
I
makes
think that
it look like a snack.
I eat that in
If you-
about 10 minutes.
Okay,
So,
yeah, that's
Easy.
cool.
Easy.
I was gonna say
It's like a bag of
if you
chips.
cut it up into I'll count it.
so Frida's burrito.
How many
with
more
some of that
do you
Chipotle
eat
sauce.
more throughout the day? Like, do you eat and then the Chipotle
4 a day
comes
is
in the,
typical.
then the third one's a snack.
Right, only the third
The
one.
first
So
one is breakfast.
third
the second
Chipotle
one
burrito.
lunch.
That is-
Third
that is my
Chipotle.
snack,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's your snack.
Second Chipotle.
what about
Yeah.
11sies?
Yeah.
Breakfast?
That's amazing. Oh man. Okay, so before we end, the next show that y'all have coming up is in Fort Worth, and where are y'all playing?
Mass, Main at
Mass.
Southside.
Awesome.
December
Fort Worth,
14th.
December 14th.
December 14th.
My grandma's
Fantastic.
birthday. Shout out Oma.
Oh, shout out to the
Shout out
Oma.
We love
Shout
you,
out.
Oma.
That's amazing. Oh, guys, thanks for coming in. I've
Hey,
laughed a
man.
whole lot.
Thank you so
It's been
much,
a good
man.
time. It's been a good
sure.
time,
Absolutely.
guys.
Pleasure.
Once
you.
again, folks, been hanging out with the boys, Maestro, Maya. You can catch them
Shout out
down in
Sunbuzz.
Fort Worth on December 14th, correct? I said that right?
Yes,
December,
sir.
December
Yes,
14th.
Friday.
It is a Friday, so get on out there,
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
good time. Y'all stick around. Next week, I've actually got Class Action coming in the studios, and they were the second people I ever interviewed 2 years ago. So,
Sweet.
yeah, good times.
Bringing
Excited
it
to
back.
have Danielle and Christian and all those guys back in the studio. It's going to be a good time. So y'all tune in and stay right here on DentonRadio.com for Ellie Bell and the Denton Vibe. We'll see y'all next week. Take it easy. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to check out DentonRadio.com for new Denton artists and where they're playing next. While you're surfing the internet, make sure you check out our friends Classic of Denton at ClassicofDenton.com.